All right, now we're working on the book of Daniel right now because we're finished all the other things that I've been doing on here. And this book tells the story of Daniel. When Daniel was young, the king of Babylon attacked Jerusalem. He broke down the city walls and made all the people leave. Daniel had to move away from his home. The Babylonians took him to their king's palace, but Daniel knew God would take care of him. Daniel and his friends loved God. They would not worship false gods like other people did. God took care of Daniel for all of his long life. Daniel wrote this book to tell the Jews to trust God. God was greater than the king of Babylon. He's greater than any king. And that's just the introduction, okay? I'm starting on chapter 1 right now. Daniel is trained in Babylon. Now, I'm probably going to have a lot of trouble pronouncing some words, so please be patient with me, and I'll begin now. It was the 3rd year that Jehoiakim was king of Judah. Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem. His army surrounded the city and attacked it. The Lord handed Jehoiakim, the king of Judah, over to him. Nebuchadnezzar also took some of the objects from God's temple. He carried them off to the temple of his God in Babylon. He put them among the treasures of his God. The king gave Ashpenaz an order. Ashpenaz was the chief of Nebuchadnezzar's court officials. The king told him to bring him some of the Israelites. The king wanted them to serve him in his court. He wanted nobles and men from the royal family. He was looking for young men who were healthy and handsome, and they had to be able to learn anything. They had to be well educated, and they had to have the ability to understand new things quickly and easily. The king wanted men who could serve in his palace. Ashpenaz was supposed to teach them the Babylonian language and writings. The king had his servants give them food and wine from his own table. They received a certain amount every day. The young men had to be trained for 3 years. After that, they could begin to serve the king. Some of the men chosen from Judah, their names were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. And the chief official gave them new names. He gave Daniel the name Belteshazzar. He gave Hananiah the name Shadrach. He gave Mishael the name Meshach. And he gave Azariah the name Abednego. Daniel decided not to make himself unclean by eating the king's food and drinking his wine, so he asked the chief official for a favor. He wanted permission not to make himself unclean with the king's food and wine. God has caused the official to be kind and friendly to Daniel, but the official refused to do what Daniel asked for. He said, "I'm afraid of the king. He is my master. He has decided that you and your 3 friends must eat and drink. Other young men are the same age as you. Why should he see you looking worse than them? When he sees how you look, he might kill me." So Daniel spoke to one of the guards. The chief official had appointed him over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Daniel said to him, "Please test us for 10 days. Give us nothing but vegetables to eat, and give us only water to drink. Then compare us with the young men who eat the king's food, and see how we look. After that, do what you want to." So the guard agreed. He tested them for 10 days. After the 10 days, Daniel and his friends looked healthy and well fed, and in fact, they looked better than any of the other young men that ate the king's food. So the guard didn't require them to eat the king's special food. He didn't require them to drink the king's wine either. He gave them vegetables instead. God gave knowledge and understanding to these 4 young men, so they understood all things of writings and subjects, and Daniel could understand all kinds of visions and dreams. The 3 years the king had set for their training ended, so the chief official brought them to Nebuchadnezzar. The king talked with them. He didn't find anyone equal to Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. So they began to serve the king. He asked them for advice in matters that required wisdom and understanding. The king always found their answers to be the best. Other men in the kingdom claimed to get knowledge by using magic, but answers of Daniel and his friends were 10 times better than theirs. Daniel served in Babylon until the first year Cyrus ruled over the land of Babylon. Cyrus was king of Persia. Now, I'm sorry if I've pronounced any names wrong. It could be Kyrus for all I know. I could be mentioning all their names wrong, but you get the gist of it. That's the end of part 1. Tomorrow, Nebuchadnezzar dreams about a large statue, and that's part 2. And I'll be back with, I believe, around Psalm 52. It's not a very long one. So, yeah. I hope that this book of Daniel would be, shows how prophetic he really is, and the Lord really loved him. So, okay, I'll be back in a bit.